When the council declared Earth tamed, our wolves volunteered as envoys. HFY Sci-Fi story. In the vast expanse of the galaxy, civilizations bloomed and withered, species rose and fell, and the Great Council of Concord governed the galaxy's most powerful and influential races. For centuries, the council had watched Earth, a primitive and unruly world, struggle with its chaotic history. Wars, environmental destruction, and political turmoil. The council saw them all. They deemed the planet's inhabitants, humans included, to be unpredictable, dangerous, and far from ready to join the interstellar community. That was, until Earth was declared tamed. It wasn't the work of humans alone, but rather a strange partnership between nature and technology. An event known as the Awakening had changed everything. The wild, untamed forces of Earth's animal kingdom had suddenly and inexplicably bonded with human consciousness, enabling a level of empathy and understanding between species that had never existed before. The once mighty wolves of Earth's forests were no longer just predators. They became protectors, companions, and guides. For centuries, wolves had been both feared and revered. Now, they became Earth's emissaries to the stars. It was a moonless night on Earth when the announcement came. The Council of Concord had voted, and Earth's status as a tamed planet was official. Their reasoning was simple: the human race, though still primitive by galactic standards, had managed to coexist with its environment in ways never before seen. The animals, especially the wolves, had helped bridge the gap between the Earth's wild, natural state and human progress. The first wolves who volunteered for the role of envoys were chosen not for their intelligence, but for their innate connection to the Earth. Their bond with nature had always been intrinsic. But now, with the surge of the awakening, they could communicate directly with humans, their minds and hearts intertwined. These wolves could speak not in words, but in visions, emotions, and instincts, an ancient language older than the stars themselves. Wolf Prime was the leader of these new envoys, with fur as dark as the void of space, eyes that gleamed like distant stars, and a mind that surpassed even the most advanced human intellects. Wolf Prime stood at the forefront. His mission was clear: represent Earth and its newly evolved inhabitants in the galactic community. The Council had no idea what they were in for. Earth's wolves were no longer mere creatures of instinct. They were now sentient beings capable of strategic thought and communication on a cosmic scale. When Wolf Prime stepped into the council chambers, every species present, hundreds of them, from the tall and elegant Zrillions to the massive, lumbering Tari, paused in stunned silence. Wolf Prime's presence was overwhelming. His mind, a blend of human understanding and primal wisdom, communicated with the council without words. It was as though they were all seeing the same vision, a vision of Earth's wild landscapes, its deep forests, vast oceans, and the unbreakable bond between humans and animals. "We are not here to simply join your council," Wolf Prime's presence echoed in their minds. "We are here to show you that the spirit of the Earth cannot be tamed, nor should it be. We are Earth's guardians, its warriors, and its diplomats. We are here to remind you of the power that lies in harmony, not just in technology, but in nature itself." The council, composed of beings who valued logic, order, and control, were unprepared for the raw, untamed energy that Wolf Prime represented. His words resonated with a deep truth that none of them could ignore. It was as if the wolf had brought with him the very essence of Earth's soul, a force of nature that was both beautiful and terrifying. The Zrillion ambassador, a race known for their cunning intellect and vast knowledge, spoke first. "What is it you wish of us, Wolf Prime? Your world is still young. Your species is still primitive. What can you offer the council that we do not already possess?" Wolf Prime's gaze shifted, and suddenly the council chamber was filled with visions: thick forests, snow-capped mountains, and vast plains where wolves ran alongside humans. The image of a child and a wolf standing together under the pale light of a distant star was seared into the minds of every counselor present. "We offer you the one thing you cannot manufacture," Wolf Prime's essence echoed: the power of unity between species, the strength of the wild and the wisdom of civilization, the true meaning of peace, forged in the heart of the Earth itself. Back on Earth, humans watched the broadcast of Wolf Prime's speech. To them, it was a moment of pride. Their wolves, who had once roamed free and wild, were now dignitaries, symbols of their newfound harmony with the world around them. The wolves' willingness to step into the unknown as Earth's ambassadors was a testament to how far humanity had come. But even more, it was a reminder of how little they truly understood the depth of the Earth they had once thought they had tamed. The Earth had tamed them, not the other way around. And the wolves, once seen as mere animals, were now more than capable of guiding humanity into a new age, one in which their destiny would be shaped by both nature and the stars. The stars were not the only thing shining brightly that day. Earth's wolves stood proud, their tails sweeping through the grass, their spirits undaunted. They were the emissaries now, the true diplomats between Earth and the greater galaxy, and they had no intention of ever being anything less. When the Council declared Earth tamed, it was not a victory for the stars, but for the wild, for the untamed forces of nature that had guided humanity to its true potential. And so, the wolves volunteered. Not as pets, not as servants, but as envoys. When the Council declared Earth tamed, our wolves volunteered as envoys. Part 2, HFY Sci-Fi Story. As the Galactic Ambassadorial Council deliberated, Earth's wolves prepared to enter a new stage of their mission. Wolf Prime, along with the chosen envoys, would not only represent Earth but would also serve as the bridge between a young species and an ancient cosmos. It wasn't long before the first delegation left Earth, accompanied by a fleet of human ships that would escort them to the center of the galaxy, the heart of the Council itself. Their mission was not just diplomacy, it was survival. The awakening that had transformed Earth was still a mystery, and the rest of the universe could not afford to underestimate the bond that had formed between humanity and the natural world. It was an untested phenomenon that had sparked both awe and fear in the hearts of many galactic species. Wolf Prime's first encounter. The journey to the Council's homeworld was long, and the journey was fraught with challenges. No human had ever journeyed so far beyond Earth, and the void between galaxies was not kind to those who were unprepared. Yet, the wolves had an uncanny way of navigating the dark corridors of space. Their bond with Earth's energy, its magnetic fields, its natural rhythms, allowed them to sense the faintest vibrations of the cosmos itself. It was as though they could feel the pulse of the universe, guiding them through the unknown. When they arrived at the Council station, an enormous, floating city of glass and steel that orbited a dying star, the wolves were met with awe. It was a place of immense power, with species from thousands of different worlds gathering to debate, make decisions, and form alliances. The station was a beacon of order, but it lacked the raw energy, the pulse of life, that Earth had in abundance. Wolf Prime stepped off the ship, his paws silent on the metallic floors, his fur gleaming under the artificial lights. He was flanked by 3 other wolves, each a symbol of the bond between species and the planet they had come from. The Council chamber was vast, a cavernous hall filled with representatives from 1,000 different species. The air hummed with the sound of communication, as thoughts and emotions were exchanged through telepathy, a language common to many advanced species. But the moment Wolf Prime entered, a silence fell over the room, a silence that reverberated not just through the chamber but through the minds of every delegate present. The voice of Earth. Wolf Prime did not speak. Instead, his presence was an invitation to witness Earth through his eyes. The ancient connection between him and the planet thrummed, sending waves of visions to every mind in the room. The sprawling forests of the planet, the snow-capped peaks, the towering oceans teeming with life, these were not mere images but feelings, emotions embedded deep within the hearts of every species present. It was as though the Council was seeing Earth for the first time, not as a world to be conquered or analyzed but as a living, breathing organism, connected to its past, its future, and its wild inhabitants. A Zrillian diplomat, known for her logical mind and detachment from emotions, was the first to respond. Her name was Tila, and she spoke in a voice as smooth as glass. Yet there was a crack in her usual composure. You show us the Earth's heart, Wolf Prime. But what do you seek from us? Do you expect the Council to accept you as equals? To allow your planet to join us in the great galactic community? Wolf Prime's gaze met hers, and the room seemed to hold its breath. Then, with a deep, resonant thought, he replied, I do not ask for acceptance, I ask for understanding. We are not your equals, we are different, but we share a bond with this universe, one you cannot see, one you do not yet understand. We ask for the chance to be a part of this community, not through domination, not through conquest, but through respect. A ripple ran through the room. Some species recoiled, their minds unsettled by the simplicity of Wolf Prime's request. Others were intrigued. But the Tari, the ancient giants who had long ruled the stars with an iron fist, were not so easily moved. The challenge. The Tari ambassador, a hulking figure covered in metallic plates that shimmered like a starry sky, spoke with a low, booming voice. Your request is bold, Wolf Prime. But what proof do you have of Earth's value in the galactic order? We cannot allow an unruly species to simply enter our fold without understanding their true potential or threat. We demand a challenge. A wave of tension rippled through the chamber. The Tari were notorious for testing newcomers. Trials of strength, wisdom, or cunning, only those who passed could join the council's ranks. Wolf Prime stood tall, his eyes glowing faintly with an ancient fire. He turned to his fellow wolves and nodded once. The challenge was accepted. The terms were simple. The council would test Earth through a trial that would require both the humans and the wolves to prove their worth in the fields of diplomacy, survival, and intellect. 3 distinct trials would take place, each testing a different aspect of what it meant to be tamed by Earth. Trial 1, the test of diplomacy. The first trial was set in a controlled, artificial environment, a simulation of a galactic marketplace where multiple species traded and negotiated for power, resources, and information. The wolves, though they could not speak with their voices, had the ability to communicate with their minds, weaving emotions and instincts into their interactions. Human diplomats, trained by the wolves to communicate with empathy and respect, would stand by their side. Together, they would navigate the web of lies, secrets, and power struggles within the market, aiming to secure the best outcome for Earth without resorting to deception. Wolf Prime's gaze lingered on Tila as the challenge began. He could feel the tension in the room as humans and wolves alike were thrust into the complex political landscape. Hours passed as the trial unfolded, but by the end, Earth had secured favorable trade agreements, not by force or manipulation, but through genuine understanding and negotiation. Trial 2, the test of survival. Next, the trial moved to a harsher environment, a wilderness planet, untamed and hostile, where resources were scarce and danger was abundant. The wolves, with their deep bond to nature, excelled here. They navigated through jungles and deserts, using their instincts and their connection to the planet to find food, shelter, and safety. The humans, guided by their wolf companions, showed resilience, working as partners with their animal counterparts. By the end of the trial, Earth's representatives had not only survived but thrived in the harsh wilderness, demonstrating their unity with nature, a far cry from the destructive tendencies of many other species in the galaxy. Trial 3, the test of intellect. The final trial was a test of strategy and intellect. Earth was pitted against some of the most brilliant minds in the galaxy, including the Zrillions, who were known for their superior logic and reason. The trial was a game of galactic chess, where every move could alter the course of an entire star system. It was a game that tested not just intelligence but the ability to think in unpredictable, creative ways. Wolf Prime, with his ancient knowledge and deep connection to the Earth, guided his human counterparts with precision, teaching them how to think like the wolves, how to strategize not with cold logic, but with instinct and foresight. In the end, Earth's team emerged victorious, proving that intuition and empathy could triumph over pure intellect. When the Council declared Earth tamed, our wolves volunteered as envoys. Part 3, HFY Sci-Fi story. After the trials, Earth's place among the stars was no longer in question. The galaxy's greatest minds and most powerful races had witnessed the strength and unity of the planet, embodied by its wolves. Yet, the journey was far from over. With Earth now recognized as an equal in the galactic community, the true challenges lay ahead, not just in maintaining that status, but in navigating the complex relationships that would define Earth's future role among the stars. New alliances, old foes. While many species welcomed Earth's newfound status, others were far less enthusiastic. Among the most vocal detractors were the Tsar, a powerful, militaristic race whose empire had stretched across the galaxy for millennia. They saw Earth's sudden rise as a threat to their long-standing dominion, and the wolves' diplomatic success was seen as a direct challenge to their authority. Such a young species, muttered Draka, the Tsar emissary, as she surveyed the new alliances forming around Earth. The wolves may be clever, but they are no match for the might of the Tsar. Her voice, though calculated, held a hint of apprehension, as if the very idea of Earth's sudden ascent unsettled her. Wolf Prime, sensing the brewing tension, stepped forward with an air of quiet strength. He did not respond to Draka's words with hostility but instead projected his thoughts into the minds of the council. His message one of peace and diplomacy. The wolves are not here to compete for power. Wolf Prime's essence resonated within their minds. We are here to share the wisdom of the earth, to protect the delicate balance of life, not to dominate. Yet, even as his message of unity reverberated through the chamber, the Tsar remained unmoved. The true challenge would be to prove Earth's worth in the face of such lingering animosity. The Galactic Council's first crisis. Several weeks after the trials, the galaxy found itself on the brink of a major conflict. A rogue fleet from the Valkyrii, an ancient and warlike species from the Outer Rim, had begun making incursions into the peaceful borders of the Council's territory. The Council's usual methods of diplomacy and deterrence had failed, and many delegates were calling for military intervention. It was at this critical juncture that the wolves proved their value once again. They were not simply warriors, nor diplomats, they were stewards of the planet's deeper wisdom, capable of understanding threats in ways others could not. Wolf Prime, along with a cadre of his most trusted envoys, volunteered to embark on a daring mission to the Valkyrii homeworld. Their goal, to negotiate a ceasefire and prevent the conflict from spiraling into a galaxy-wide war. The Wolf's Path. The journey to the Valkyrii homeworld was perilous. The Valkyrii, known for their brutal and aggressive nature, had long been a thorn in the side of the galactic community, but they had also respected strength, a quality the wolves embodied in abundance. Wolf Prime and his companions traveled in silence, meditating and preparing for the meeting that could either save the galaxy from war or condemn it to destruction. Their minds were as sharp as their claws, and their instincts were their greatest weapon. They knew that this mission was unlike any they had ever undertaken. It wasn't just a test of diplomacy, it was a test of everything they represented. As the Wolf Envoys neared the Valkyrii system, they were met with an intimidating force of warships, their sleek designs painted in dark shades that matched the cold, hostile atmosphere of the Valkyrii homeworld. Yet, even in the face of overwhelming odds, Wolf Prime did not waver. The Valkyrii ruler, High Commander Sorak, greeted them with disdain. His towering form, clad in black armor, radiated power and authority, and his piercing gaze made it clear he saw Earth's wolves as little more than curiosities, an interesting species, perhaps, but not something to be taken seriously. "You come here to talk peace?" Sorak growled, his voice a low, menacing rumble. "Your kind has no place in the galactic order. The Valkyrii take what they want, and no one stands in our way." Wolf Prime stood tall, his posture unwavering. There was no fear in his eyes, only calm certainty. He spoke not with words, but with the deep resonance of the earth itself, transmitting his thoughts into the mind of Sorak. The message was simple, yet profound. You seek power, but power gained through force is fleeting. The earth teaches that true strength is found in balance, in respect for all life. If you seek war, it will only bring destruction. But if you seek peace, we can find a way to coexist. Sarak's eyes narrowed as the vision of the earth, its wild, unbroken landscapes, its vast oceans, and its creatures living in harmony, flooded his mind. It was an image unlike any he had ever seen before. The raw, untamed energy of Earth was undeniable, and for the first time, he felt a twinge of doubt. Could the Valkyrii truly afford to ignore this force? A test of strength. The Valkyrii were not known for their compassion, but they respected strength, and in that moment, Wolf Prime knew that the real test was about to begin. The High Commander issued a challenge, a trial of combat between his best warriors and the wolves. It would be a test not only of physical prowess but of resolve and unity. The wolves accepted. The arena was a vast, open space, surrounded by the cold, dark architecture of the Valkyrii city. The air was thick with tension as the Valkyrii warriors, fierce and battle-hardened, took their positions. Their weapons gleamed, and their battle cries echoed through the arena. Wolf Prime and his companions, however, stood at ease, their eyes calm and focused. They did not need weapons. Their strength was in their unity, human and wolf, working as one. They had faced trials before, but this was different. This was not about defeating an enemy. It was about proving that Earth, as a whole, had the strength to protect what it loved. The battle was brutal, but it was not a battle of destruction. The wolves fought with precision, their movements flowing as if they were one with the earth itself. They didn't kill, they didn't maim, they subdued the Valkyrie warriors, showing them a strength born of empathy and understanding, not violence. In the end, the Valkyrie were forced to yield. They had never encountered such a force before, a strength not defined by sheer power, but by a deeper connection to the world around them. A new beginning. With the battle over and the Valkyrie defeated, Sarak stood in the arena, breathing heavily. His pride had been wounded, but in that moment, something had shifted within him. For the first time in his long life, he understood that strength could be more than just power, it could be restraint, wisdom, and unity. We were wrong, Sarak admitted, his voice low. Earth's wolves have shown us something we did not understand. We will cease our aggression. And so, the Valkyrie withdrew their forces, and peace was restored. A legacy written in the stars. Wolf Prime's mission had succeeded, not through domination or force, but through understanding and respect. The galaxy would forever remember the day the wolves had proved that true strength was not in conquering others, but in knowing when to fight and when to seek peace. As Wolf Prime and his companions returned to Earth, the stars above seemed to shine just a little brighter. They had not only secured peace for their planet, they had shown the galaxy that the future of the universe lay not in the hands of the powerful, but in the hearts of those willing to listen, to learn, and to grow together. And so, the wolves continued to walk among the stars, not just as Earth's envoys, but as symbols of the unyielding spirit of harmony that could one day unite all worlds. When the Council declared Earth tamed, our wolves volunteered as envoys. Part 4, HFY Sci-Fi story. Earth had been forever changed by its ascension into the galactic fold. It was no longer just a wild, chaotic planet teeming with human potential, it was a symbol of unity, balance, and understanding. The wolves, once feared as creatures of the wild, had become Earth's greatest emissaries, guiding humanity and the other galactic species toward a new age of peace and cooperation. But even in this newfound peace, darker forces still lingered in the shadows, and the galaxy's political landscape was far from stable. The shadow of the Ancient Ones. In the aftermath of the Valkyrie peace negotiations, the Council's attention turned to a deeper, more ancient threat, the Xantar, a race older than any in the galaxy. These beings were legends among the stars, known for their brutal history of war and conquest, their existence marked by the burning of entire worlds. Thought to be extinct for eons, the Xantar had resurfaced, and their motivations were unclear. Their sudden reappearance sent ripples through the Council, raising suspicion among many of the galaxy's leaders. The Xantar's cold, calculating eyes had always seen the galaxy as theirs for the taking, and their return was a reminder of the fragile nature of the peace the Council had worked so hard to establish. Wolf Prime, ever the diplomat, knew that Earth and its wolves had a unique role to play in the face of such ancient darkness. The Xantar were not easily deterred by conventional means. They would not be cowed by diplomacy alone. They understood the language of the primal, of strength, and of the untamed forces that defined Earth itself. The call for unity. An emergency council session was called to address the growing threat. Representatives from every corner of the galaxy gathered, including the Valkyrie, now allies after their humbling defeat. But even with the combined might of the galactic races, there was no guarantee of success. The Xantar do not negotiate, the Zrillian ambassador, Tila, said grimly as she surveyed the room. They conquer, we must unite, and we must be ready for war. But it was Wolf Prime who spoke next, his presence calm and resolute as ever. War is not the answer. The Xantar thrive on fear. They do not know the strength of unity in the face of their darkness. Earth has always had its strength, its resilience, not in its weapons, but in its spirit, and it is that spirit that we must share with the galaxy. The Council was silent for a long moment, each delegate considering his words. There was truth in them. Earth's wolves had faced threats beyond imagination and always emerged stronger, not by fighting alone, but by standing united with others. At last, Tila spoke again, her voice softer this time. If we are to face the Xantar, we must be more than allies. We must be one. Earth's wolves understand this. Perhaps it is time we learn from them. The journey to the Xantar. The decision was made. A diplomatic mission would be sent to the heart of the Xantar's empire, a system long thought to be a wasteland, devoid of life, hidden in the farthest reaches of the galaxy. This mission would be led by Earth's wolves, and the Council would follow. They had to show the Xantar that their time of conquest had ended. Wolf Prime, along with a selected group of wolves, would travel to the Xantar homeworld. Accompanied by representatives from the Council, each species would have a role to play. The wolves would walk not as conquerors, but as envoys once more, showing the Xantar that peace was not only possible, but necessary. The journey was long, and the tensions between the different species on the ship grew as they neared the Xantar's domain. Old prejudices died hard, and for many, the Xantar represented everything the galaxy had fought to overcome. The Valkyrii, who had once been conquerors themselves, were especially wary, but under the guidance of Wolf Prime, even they began to see the wisdom in the wolves' approach. As they entered the Xantar system, the atmosphere shifted, the stars seemed dimmer, the space around them colder, as if the very essence of the place had been drained of warmth and life. Their destination was a planet known only as Xantar, a barren world shrouded in storms and perpetual twilight. The dark heart of the Xantar. When they landed on Xantar, they were met not with armies or weapons, but with silence, a suffocating, unnerving silence. The Xantar were not visible, but Wolf Prime's senses stretched outward, feeling the oppressive presence of something ancient, something almost sentient within the planet itself. The Xantar's leader, the Empress Vra, a being so old her true form was said to be beyond comprehension, appeared before them. Her presence more felt than seen, her essence rippled through the very air, and the force of her will was almost unbearable. You come, not with weapons, but with wolves. The Empress's voice rang in their minds. It was a voice ancient, vast, and chilling. You think you can change the course of the universe? Do you believe you can stop what is inevitable? The Xantar will not be tamed. Wolf Prime stepped forward, his form standing as a symbol of Earth's resilience. He did not speak with words, but with the power of the Earth's connection to the universe itself. His thoughts were clear. We do not seek to tame you, Empress. We seek to show you that even the darkest forces can find peace, that even in the coldest, most barren places, life can flourish again. The galaxy has changed. It is not the same as it was when you ruled it through fear. If you wish to survive, you must evolve, just as Earth has. The Xantar Empress did not respond immediately. She studied Wolf Prime with an intensity that threatened to break the unity between the wolves and their allies. Her presence filled the air like a storm about to break. Then, a vision, no, a feeling, flooded their minds. The Empress was not merely a ruler of a race. She was the embodiment of an ancient force, a being forged from the primordial chaos of the universe. Her empire had once been a manifestation of that chaos, a way of imposing control on a universe that she had never truly understood. You do not understand the depth of our power, Empress Kra thought, her voice a wave of dark energy. I was born from the void itself. My people were the first to dominate, to conquer. Wolf Prime's response was simple, his calmness unwavering. And now you must learn to coexist, not by dominating, but by sharing, by understanding that true strength lies in unity, not in isolation. Earth has learned this. It is time for the Xantar to learn as well. The Empress's mind recoiled, as if she had been struck by a force too pure, too foreign. Her people had always known the power of isolation, of keeping everything in check, in fear. But what the wolves showed her now was something far different, the power of balance. For the first time in her existence, Empress Kra hesitated. She had been convinced for eons that domination was the only way to maintain order. But the wolves, through their connection to the earth, had offered her something else, a way to evolve, a way to change. The silence stretched on. And then, slowly, the Empress spoke again. Perhaps you are right. Perhaps we have forgotten what it means to be part of the whole. A new era. The wolves had done it again. Through their strength, their wisdom, and their bond to Earth, they had accomplished what many thought impossible. They had convinced the Xantar to lay down their ancient hunger for conquest. The galaxy had been changed once more. But this time, it was not through war, it was through understanding. Wolf Prime and the emissaries returned to Earth, their mission complete. The galaxy had been spared a war, and the Xantar, once the most feared empire, had begun the slow, difficult path toward peace. When the Council declared Earth tamed, our wolves volunteered as envoys, Part 5, HFY Sci-Fi story. The galaxy was forever shifting. The Xantar were no longer the untouchable force they once were. Earth's wolves had shown them the path to peace, a lesson that rippled through the stars, changing the way civilizations approached one another. But the cosmos, vast and mysterious, still held secrets, some of which were not yet ready to reveal themselves. And as the wolves continued their journey as Earth's envoys, they were about to face challenges that would test not only their strength, but the very essence of their mission. The arrival of the Elders. It began with a whisper, a presence felt by no one and everyone at once. 4 weeks. Ships began to disappear from the far edges of the galaxy, never to return. Entire systems fell silent. The Council, once confident in its alliances, found itself at a loss, unable to explain these sudden disappearances. Rumors began to spread of an ancient race far older than even the Xantar, an enigmatic force known only as the Elders. The Elders had been spoken of in hushed tones for millennia, myth and legend entwining their names with the fabric of cosmic history, said to be beings who transcended physical form. Their motives were unknown, their power seemingly limitless. They were the stuff of stories until now. The first contact came in the form of an unmarked, colossal vessel. It appeared in orbit around Earth, its surface a strange mix of light and shadow, seemingly composed of countless fractals that shifted and reformed with a strange elegance. No one knew how it had arrived, or why, but its presence was undeniable. Wolf Prime felt it first, a tremor of something profound moving through the very fabric of space. The wolves, with their deep connection to the Earth, sensed the arrival of the Elders before the Council did. They could feel the disturbance in the balance, a subtle yet unmistakable shift in the energies around them. Something ancient and powerful had arrived. The Elders' message. The Elders, in their first communication, did not speak in the traditional sense. Instead, they sent a wave of consciousness, a flood of images, emotions, and thoughts. It was not a message delivered by words, but by sheer, overwhelming presence. The galaxy felt it collectively, and in that moment, every being across the known universe understood that something momentous was about to unfold. The Council convened an emergency session, but as they attempted to form a strategy, they were interrupted by a single thought, broadcast to all. It came through not as a voice, but as a feeling, a singular, powerful concept that transcended language. We have watched. We have waited. You are no longer children of the stars. You are now ready for the next stage. The message was clear, though its meaning was obscure. The Elders did not wish to communicate in the conventional way. Their presence was overwhelming, their intention inscrutable. They were not here to explain, they were here to test. Wolf Prime stepped forward, as calm as ever, his connection to the Earth's spirit grounding him. He had learned over the years that the key to these kinds of encounters was understanding. He did not seek to challenge the Elders. Instead, he sought to understand them. Their test was not one of might, but of wisdom and of unity. What is the next stage? Wolf Prime's mind reached out, a ripple of thought sent toward the Elders. And what role do we play? For a moment, there was no answer, and then, slowly, the galaxy felt the Elders' response, a single thought shared across all minds. You have not yet understood the true meaning of balance. You have learned to survive, to adapt, but true harmony cannot be achieved by living in isolation. The forces of the universe are connected in ways you cannot yet see. We will show you, if you are ready to understand. A journey of understanding. The wolves were chosen to lead a delegation to the Elders' ship. Their role was not just to speak on behalf of Earth, but to guide the other species, humans, aliens, and all, to learn the lessons that the Elders were about to impart. The ship, vast beyond imagination, was a city in itself, its halls stretched endlessly, with walls that shimmered and transformed as if alive, constantly changing in response to their presence. As the wolves and their companions moved deeper into the ship, they began to realize that what the Elders were offering was not just knowledge, it was a glimpse into something far greater. The walls around them seemed to pulse with life, resonating with the cosmic forces that bound the universe together. It was here that Wolf Prime understood the true nature of their mission. The Elders weren't simply offering knowledge, they were showing them the web of existence, the interconnectedness of all things. The balance they spoke of was not just between species, it was between the very fabric of the universe itself. Every star, every planet, every being played a role in the grand symphony of the cosmos, and only by understanding and respecting that balance could peace truly exist. For the wolves, this was not a new lesson. They had always understood balance in their own way, through their connection to Earth, to the wild, to the cycles of life and death, but to see it on such a grand, cosmic scale was something entirely different. The wolves, with their innate wisdom and connection to the Earth, were the key to bridging the understanding between the elders and the younger races. Their ability to feel the pulse of the universe, to understand the delicate interplay of forces, made them the ideal guides. They were the embodiment of balance, and now, they would teach the galaxy the same. The test of unity. But the elders' test was not simply intellectual. It was a trial of unity, of the collective will of the galaxy's people. They would not be able to achieve true balance by standing alone, by focusing solely on their own desires or needs. The galaxy would have to come together, not as individual species, but as one collective force. The wolves, once again, led the way. With their innate understanding of unity, they brought the council together, human and alien, the strong and the weak, the old and the young, and showed them the power of working as one. It was not just a matter of survival. It was a matter of understanding that every being in the galaxy had a role to play in maintaining the balance. Through trials of thought, of emotion, and of action, the species of the galaxy slowly began to understand. They began to see that the galaxy was not a collection of isolated systems, but a living, breathing entity, a web of connections that needed to be nurtured and protected. The final test was a simple one. The elders asked the representatives of the galaxy to act, not as individuals, but as one. They were tasked with a decision: would they come together, despite their differences, to maintain the balance of the universe? Would they work together, not just for their own benefit, but for the good of all? It was the wolves who led the charge, their united howl a symbol of what the galaxy could become, a force of unity, of harmony, and slowly, the other species followed, each contributing their unique strengths to the collective will. The dawn of a new era. When the test was complete, the elders appeared once more. This time, they did not speak of the future. Instead, they shared a vision of a galaxy united, of worlds working together in harmony, of species that had learned not only to survive but to thrive in the great cosmic web. You have passed, the elders communicated, their voice no longer imposing, but full of quiet respect. You are ready, the balance has been restored. And with that, the elders departed, their ship vanishing into the vast expanse of the galaxy, leaving behind only a lingering sense of possibility. When the council declared Earth tamed, our wolves volunteered as envoys. Part 6, HFY Sci-Fi Story. The galaxy hummed with an energy it hadn't known in eons. The elders had come, and with them, the foundation of a new cosmic order had been laid. Earth's wolves had once again proven themselves the unsung heroes of the universe, bridging gaps and forging connections across species, dimensions, and the very fabric of existence. Yet, while the galaxy celebrated the unity achieved, darker forces, unseen and unknown, began to stir in the shadows. The wolves knew it was not over, not by a long shot, for they understood better than anyone that peace was a fragile thing, held together by the tenuous threads of cooperation, trust, and balance. A whisper in the dark. The stars were silent that night. Wolf Prime stood alone on a balcony overlooking Earth's shining cities, the vast oceans, and the wild lands where the wolves had once roamed free. He could feel the shift in the air, the subtle change in the cosmic winds. A disturbance had begun, not one of war or aggression, but of something far more insidious. Something ancient and forgotten was awakening. The wolves had taught the galaxy to understand balance, to know peace, but there were forces out there that had never learned the lesson, and they were watching. Suddenly, Wolf Prime's ears twitched, picking up a sound. A deep, resonant pulse reverberated through the earth itself. It was a call not to Earth, but to the wolves. Something was coming. The council was unaware of the impending threat, but Wolf Prime knew that it was time for the wolves to act again. Their role was not just as envoys and diplomats. They were also guardians of the balance, protectors of the unity they had so painstakingly built. The echo of the forgotten. The wolves gathered, their presence reverent, knowing that what they were about to face would test them in ways they had never imagined. Wolf Prime called for an assembly of the most trusted among them, those who had stood by his side in every negotiation, every battle, and every challenge. There are forces stirring in the dark corners of the galaxy, Wolf Prime said, his voice a low growl. I can feel them in the earth, and I can feel them in the very fabric of space. One of the elder wolves, Lyra, who had been with him since the earliest days of their ascension, stepped forward. What is it, Prime? What do you sense? Wolf Prime hesitated, his eyes scanning the horizon, as if searching for something that wasn't yet there. The Forgotten Ones, he muttered, the ancient gods of the void. Long ago, they were sealed away by the elders and the first civilizations of the galaxy. They are the true masters of chaos, and they are waking. The room fell into silence. The Forgotten Ones were a myth, spoken of only in the darkest legends. It was said that they were entities of unimaginable power, born from the void before time, existing outside the natural laws of the universe. Their hunger for destruction was boundless, and they were said to have been sealed away after nearly unmaking the galaxy itself. They are real? Lyra asked, her voice a whisper. Yes, Wolf Prime said grimly, and they have begun to call to us. The balance we've fought to establish. It is in danger. We must act swiftly. The hunt for the Forgotten Ones. The wolves' mission was clear. They would have to find the source of the disturbance, the place where the Forgotten Ones were stirring. Their only hope was to prevent the galaxy from falling into chaos once again. The wolves boarded their ships, sleek and silent, and set course for the farthest reaches of the galaxy. They traveled through black holes, past forgotten ruins, and into sectors long abandoned by other species. Every step brought them closer to the void, to the edge of the galaxy where even the light from the stars dared not tread. As they journeyed, Wolf Prime reached out with his senses, feeling the pulse of the earth, the whisper of the stars. The wolves' connection to the natural world was their greatest asset. They could feel the shifts in the fabric of reality itself. But something was wrong. As they approached the source of the disturbance, the very fabric of space seemed to warp and twist. The stars around them blinked out of existence, as if they were being consumed by an unseen force. The crew grew silent, fear creeping into their hearts. The Hollow World. They arrived at a place known only in legends, the Hollow World. It was a planet that had once been the center of an ancient civilization, a world abandoned after it was consumed by the chaos of the Forgotten Ones. Now, it was a desolate, barren husk, a place where reality itself seemed to have cracked, leaving only echoes of what once was. The wolves landed, their paws light on the cracked ground. The air was thick with an unnatural stillness, as if the very planet was holding its breath. Wolf Prime led the way, his pack following close behind, each wolf feeling the weight of the dark presence that lingered in the atmosphere. This is where it all began, Wolf Prime said, his voice steady. This is the heart of the darkness. As they moved deeper into the planet's core, the ground trembled beneath them, and the air grew heavy with a dark energy. Suddenly, a voice echoed through their minds, a voice older than the stars, a voice that sent chills down their spines. You think you can stop us, wolves? You are nothing but pawns in a game you do not understand. The balance is an illusion. We are the true rulers of the void, and soon, the galaxy will know our power once again. The voice was everywhere, in every crevice of their minds, twisting their thoughts. The wolves growled in unison, their spirits unbroken despite the weight of the threat. Wolf Prime stepped forward, his fur bristling with determination. We are not pawns, we are the guardians of the balance, and you are nothing. The battle for the galaxy's soul. The ground beneath them split open, revealing a chasm of pure darkness. From the depths of the abyss, the Forgotten Ones emerged, massive, shifting entities that defied description. They were the embodiment of chaos itself, their forms ever-changing, made of shadow and light, of void and flame. The wolves stood ready. They were not just warriors, they were the embodiment of the balance the galaxy had come to depend on. Their unity, their connection to the earth, to the natural world, was their greatest strength. The battle was like no other. The wolves fought not just with their bodies, but with their spirits. They called upon the primal forces of the universe, forces that transcended time and space, and they fought not for survival, but for the very soul of the galaxy. With every strike, with every move, the wolves weakened the Forgotten Ones. Their chaotic forms writhed in agony as the wolves' unity pierced the heart of their darkness. It was a battle of wills, of understanding versus chaos, of balance versus destruction. And in the end, it was the wolves who emerged victorious, the forgotten ones, unable to withstand the combined force of the wolves' unity and the wisdom they had gained, were sealed once more into the void. Wolf Prime stood, his pack by his side, as the echoes of the battle faded. The hollow world, once again, became silent. A new dawn. The galaxy had been saved again. The wolves had proven their worth, not just as envoys, but as the guardians of the balance. But the war against chaos was never truly over. There would always be forces seeking to disrupt the harmony they had worked so hard to build. Wolf Prime looked up at the stars, his heart heavy with the knowledge that the battle for the galaxy's soul was ongoing. But for now, peace had been restored. The wolves would continue to stand vigilant, ready for whatever the universe had in store.